What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Neighbors Podcast. I'm Mitchell, and I'm joined with Max. What's up, man?
Hi. This is me.
That's your shy voice?
That's my shy voice.
It's like, oh, fuck, we're live.
Yeah. Now people are listening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll listen soon.
Hopefully.
Friday.
That one person. No.
Shut up, honey. Don't bark. Dogs, man. Dogs. Anyway, no, that was weird. What you been up to? I haven't seen you in, I feel like, I don't know how long it's been, I think 6 months or some shit.
It's been a minute. What have I been up to? School primarily. Working at a different movie theater.
Are you?
Yeah.
What movie theater?
McMiniman's Grand Lodge.
Oh, okay. So more like,
Low
I guess
key.
it's like kind of this, like same in terms of like offering food, I assume.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely had that practice.
Are you serving?
I am, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but
There you go.
not nearly as much money as Cinetopia, which doesn't exist anymore.
Cinetopia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is it's a one theater, so a lot of it is just waiting for the movie.
Do they play first run movies?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We just got done with It Chapter 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then they're gonna play like something else.
Yeah.
Like they play like what 1-2 weeks probably of the movie. Like they played it when it came out, and then they played the second week, and then they switch over to a different one.
movie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if it does good, like Lion King, we had that for 4 months or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Not
probably
months.
4 months too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just insane. It
Why
makes
not?
so much money.
Why not?
Yeah, I was like looking at it. I was like, damn! It just booted off Black Panther for top 10 all time or whatever.
Did it beat out Hobbs and Shaw for month of August?
I'd have to look.
Because I know that was
I'll look for you though.
holding strong for a while though.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw did pretty well, but let's see. August, and then can I choose by year? Hobbs and Shaw did 60,000 or 60 million. I don't know. I said 1,000. Like, it doesn't have. I think it did. It had to have because it's not on this list.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it made like 1.6 billion.
Damn.
Yeah, 1.618. Just behind Jurassic World and ahead of the first Avengers. And if you guys haven't seen The Lion King, it's not that great.
It's the same.
I would say it's worse.
Really?
The only reason why I say that is because in the animation, they could take advantage of color and facial expressions.
Yeah.
Where in this one, they tried to make it more real, obviously, with being live action.
It's very creepy how real it is at some parts.
Yeah, and
Then
there's
others
no
is like
emotion.
Yeah, the
in
lions.
the face.
The lions can't move their faces. And
Yeah.
it's very eerie because they're like, oh, I'm supposed to be feeling. This one's supposed to be intimidating, and then it's just his face is the same as everyone else's.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Like there's no real difference between like Scar and Simba, other than like the shade of their fur.
Yeah.
And like kind of how obviously how they talk.
And the scar.
But like in the animation, like there was a clear like creepy difference between Scar and Simba.
Yeah, I think the only thing I really was like this they improved on, and I know this is not a popular opinion. I loved Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen.
Oh, me too.
Lion King.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite part.
They were the best part, but I think that's the same with the original. I feel like Timon and Pumbaa stole the show in the original, and they steal the show in this one.
I liked them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said that when we walked out because I watched it with Tanya, Kirsten, and Blake, and Tanya liked it, but Blake was like, it was boring. Like he didn't really enjoy it. I think it was because he'd already seen the movie. Basically, you'd already seen the animation, so it's like when you go, you expect maybe a couple different things. And
there's like 20 plus minutes, but those 20 minutes are just Nala scenes that they had.
Yeah,
Nala scenes,
which didn't add too much of anything.
But it's Beyonce.
But it's Beyonce. Yeah,
it's Beyonce.
Dude. You know what's crazy is like all the people I saw it with think that like Beyonce's voice is overrated, and I was like, dude, Beyonce's like
killing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people at McMiniman's too. They when they walked out after seeing the movie, they were like, "Oh well, you could tell that Donald Glover was downplaying it for Beyonce," and I was like, "What do you mean downplaying it? She's she can sing."
Yeah. Dude, yeah. What?
Yeah.
It's not like Donald. It's not like he's known for like really singing. He's known for like rap,
Yeah,
like hip hop, but
and
not for
R&B,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, but not like what she does.
Not
at all.
Ballads.
Yeah, at all. That's silly, man. Did you see it?
I did see it, chapter 2. Did you?
I did.
Ooh,
I saw it.
We can talk about it. I'm excited.
Friday or Saturday, the opening week or whatever. So we're going to talk about it. So if you haven't seen it, maybe fast forward a few minutes because we'll spoil it.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
absolutely.
We're going to talk about all of it. Did you like it?
I loved it.
Do you like it more than the first?
Yes.
Interesting. What did you like more about this one than you liked about the first one?
I think it's because I read the book.
Okay, that's fair.
And it's the way I put this down and the way I explain it to other people is that it's the most accurate book adaptation I have seen on film, to the point of like there'll be lines would be subtextual if it was on screen. Okay. So like there's a lot of moments in It Chapter 2, like the first when they all get back together at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And they're all reverting back to their childhood selves.
Yeah, that's remembering.
That's said in the book. Like, they're reverting to the childhood selves. They're no longer an adult form.
Yeah.
And you see them acting like kids, and while you're watching it, you're just like, no, they're just being assholes to each other.
Yeah.
But, like, I found that stuff pretty cool. And with, like, all the turtle stuff, I really liked. But ultimately, like, for me, the It book was about adults trying to remember what traumatized them as kids and to grow up from it. And although It Chapter 1 was great, it's a great like R-rated Goonies film. I felt like It Chapter 2 captured the book's tone better.
Yeah, so I thought I enjoyed the first one, parts of the first one more because I felt like the movie the first chapter was put together a little bit more.
That's fair.
I did like though that it was longer. Didn't bother me at all. I love the fact that
it was longer.
Yeah, I wish it. I love the fact that more movies are getting to the 2:45, 3-hour mark again.
Yeah, I think it's the longest studio horror film to date.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's super cool.
That's what they said.
The one part that I was saddened by was I think the creepiest part about it is obviously like Pennywise, but when Pennywise is Pennywise, not when Pennywise is something else.
Yeah.
And I understand that that's part of it, right? Is that it takes part of your fears and kind of shows you shit and like does all this stuff, right? But like I think Bill Skarsgård is just like phenomenal, and especially as Pennywise. Like I remember watching the original It and being creeped out when I watched it, but I was just like it didn't give me what Bill has done with Pennywise, like under the bleacher scene.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's like in my opinion,
good.
It probably is the best like Pennywise scene in both chapters.
Yeah, it's the Georgie scene of Chapter
this
2.
one. Yeah, but it was like it felt even more like luring and creepy. Like he kind of like got confidence, sort of,
and very manipulative.
Yeah,
like, They took the child's worst fear of having a disfigurement. Yeah, and being like, "Hey, I do too. That's why people make fun of me." And it's creepy.
Yeah, and I think my favorite scene though in the what creeped me out the most, I should say, was in the plexiglass thing when he's like licking the thing and in the fun house and like smiling real creepy and like that gets me.
That's some of the psychological horror I felt like the first movie was missing, because in the book Pennywise does a lot to torment the adults and torment the kids. Yeah, like that's it. It Chapter 1 I felt like did a great job of the book as well. Yeah, but there's a few things that they missed. Like I feel like the moment where James McAvoy says "Hi ho Silver" would have been more impactful if they explained in the first movie that the bike was Georgie's bike. Yeah. And that's what Georgie said because of the Lone Ranger. Yeah. Like explain that backstory, it'd have a bigger payoff in the sequel.
Yeah, and they could have even done it earlier in Chapter 2 with the flashbacks that they had done.
Absolutely.
And done stuff. So they could have easily have done it. Yeah. Again, probably very book accurate, because I heard that Chapter 2 was very book accurate. It was pretty close.
It was, except the third act. Third act was completely changed, but that's for the good.
Oh, good. Really? Yeah. Okay. So I was going to ask you, because I hadn't read it and I really do want to.
It's great.
The Bill becomes a writer, and he starts to write, movie scripts and books and does all that kind of stuff.
All of his books.
But all of them are is it all of Stephen King's stuff?
So
kind of.
Like
that's what it's supposed to be.
Bill
right?
is based off Stephen King.
Yeah, and so all of his endings are bad. that has to be a play off of most of Stephen King's endings being bad?
I think it's a playoff of...
Or maybe his fear of his endings being bad and not well liked?
I think what that is... I think what the movie did that intentionally to make it to make you know that the story isn't over.
Yeah. Okay.
His story isn't over.
Right.
So he's still going through it. I think that's what the movie was going for.
So the third act when Pennywise isn't Pennywise, he's like Spider Pennywise.
Yeah, that's in the book.
Not my favorite.
I loved that entire sequence.
I liked it, but like again, it turned it into less of a horror for me and more
fantasy.
of like an action fantasy type thing.
Yeah, but that's really what I think. That's what the mistake of making it a 2-part film like they did is because they made it like it's kids versus a monster, but then they ignore the fact that the kids go to a different realm, and then they meet like this giant turtle god who gives them the answer to kill Pennywise.
Okay.
Like, and Pennywise is like this shape-shifting entity that's in other Stephen King books. Like, it's the Stephen Kingdom's pretty cool. Like with the Dark Tower series, you see the origin of Pennywise. Yeah,
so I knew that a lot. Like now that what's it, Mr. Sleep or Doctor Sleep that's coming out? What's it called?
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep. Yeah, they started putting more stuff out. Like here's a character that was also in The Shining and has also like been to Derry and knows about it and like that kind of shit. He does a really good job of like subtle connections and maybe even not so subtle stuff.
And some of the kids in it have The Shining. Like that's the thing that they
really?
They don't say in the movie because obviously he doesn't have a cinematic universe yet, but he does have a Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, when we were in there, I was like, oh shit, that's fucking him.
Yeah.
And Tony was like, who?
Yeah.
I was like, that's Stephen King. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, strange.
The director also has a cameo in the movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, when Eddie goes as an adult to the pharmacy, there's a person in the aisle to the left of him. That's the director.
Yeah, and they did other like callbacks to The Shining with like the Here's Johnny with him coming through, and they did a bunch of stuff. So they did it. I like the movie. I think that they did a really, really good job. If more horror movies were of this quality, I'd be excited about it.
Do you think they're going to make more Pennywise stories?
I think they should.
I
think that you could really capitalize on just doing Pennywise shit of just making Bill like be Bill as Pennywise.
Well, like I mean, the first film made a ton of money. For its budget.
I mean this one has too, but not the same. But yeah,
but the sequel still made money. Like it's still.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise only has like 4 minutes of dialogue in the first film.
Yeah, it's not long.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
but it has such an impactful kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's creepy as fuck. The first one made so much money.
It did.
$700 million worldwide, and that's basically split half and half on a $35 million budget.
Yeah, and the second one's on track, right?
It's a little bit lower. At the same time, in 11 days, the first it made 223 domestic, and the second one said 154. So it's still doing really well, especially for an R-rated horror movie. I think some people don't really get that, like, once you put the R rating on shit, it really does turn off a huge market of people to go watch it.
Well, I agree with that, but I also think it's the length.
Length is too. I know I talked to a couple people who are like, yeah, I was going to go see it, but it's almost 3 hours long.
It's almost 3 hours long.
Like, it's good though.
And that's the kind of interesting thing with, after Endgame, where there's a blockbuster that's over 3 hours. Yeah. That's pretty unheard of until that point. But
yeah, only like what? The Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Pretty much. And that's expanded. That wasn't even released in theaters.
Yeah.
Like, and but like a movie like Stephen King putting it R and then giving it 2 hours and 47 minutes, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane to do. Not everyone can cut off that much time.
Yeah. I would love more movies to be like that too.
Absolutely.
Like just longer.
I would love a TV show called Derry, and it's a bunch of anthology episodes.
Yeah.
It's all, you don't even need a concurrent story. Just give me Pennywise.
Yeah, I would agree. I would love that. I would watch the shit out of that. Speaking of not necessarily Pennywise, but Bill, Castle Rock season 2 is about to come out. I don't know if Bill's in it.
So I never finished
because I didn't finish it
1.
either. But like I knew he was in it, and he was basically a fucking devil or some shit.
Yeah, he was something. I got to a point where like they almost revealed who he was, and then I was like, oh, and then I stopped watching, and I feel I need to go back to it because I really enjoyed the show. But I know season 2 is coming out soon, but I don't remember if it's an anthology series or not.
If it doesn't pick back up, where
Which is a popular theme with shows these days. It's easier to write for that.
Yeah, definitely easier when you can just be like,
boop, this happens. We'll kill everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. That was one big thing when American Horror Story came out that turned me off of the franchise, was because I knew it was anthology.
Yeah,
anthology basically means every season is different than the last. It's a story based off of one thing. Yep. And then at the end of that, that's it. There's no more talking about it. But they've kind of gone back a little bit on that, and they've tied things in a little bit more, but it's still technically anthology.
Yeah. And
because how insane would that be? You know, because it's like actors are playing different people. Like the same actors are playing different people in the same universe. So
I'm just waiting for the one actor to walk in with 5 different characters he's played, and they're all just looking at each other.
It's like Evan Peters. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
But speaking of American Horror Story, excited for the 1984 or whatever.
1986 or it is camp.
Yeah.
There's been a couple posters. God fucking damn it.
Wow. That wasn't even my phone.
No, I do this every time because I turn it on so that we can test the audio and hear it. Yeah. And then I always fucking forget to turn it off.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple posters of camp or 1986, and they look so bad. Like the posters look bad.
Yeah.
And the trailers are always cut weird.
They're cut weird, and they're not. I wouldn't even call them trailers. They're all teasers. Like they're all just like filler footage to get you hooked in to think that it's a slasher show, and then I bet you're gonna watch it, and then it's not gonna be a slasher show.
I think it's gonna be slasher, but I think it's gonna be. They always do some little twist. Like the whole time you were watching Asylum, you were like, "Oh, this is just a creepy ghost thing," and then like towards the end, it's Aliens 2.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then
it's a lot of the fear and the horror to that time period, right? Yeah. So in the 50s with Asylum, it was the church, science.
Yeah.
And
science versus religion and shit like that. Yeah. That was Asylum might be my favorite.
Oh yeah, I think that's everyone's favorite.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my top. I think it would go Asylum, Murder House. Is that what they call it?
Is that the first season?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably Roanoke after that.
Roanoke, I think, is one of my favorite. I didn't really like the first season. I know that's not really a popular opinion, but I felt the same way about the first season that I did about the third and fourth, which is the Freak Show and Covenant. Yeah.
Coven was okay. I just didn't relate to any of the characters. And they did something really dumb with Evan Peters, which was just making him like brain dead in the first episode. He's it's stupid though.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't. It's a common trope in those shows where it just gets too sexual, and I get the idea of why there needs to be sex in it, sex sells, but like, I don't need to have a scene where I see Crab Boy go into ladies' houses, and then.
That was in Freak Show.
It was weird. And I also didn't like the whole scene in the witch one, the Coven one, where the girl that plays Precious is like raped by a minotaur.
Kinda, yeah, I think so. I watched in like 2014, so I can't remember.
Wild. Yeah. Why? I was just like, this is that. That's when I stopped watching because I was just like, this is just weird. Like it's not.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like you push the boundary just because of like making it weird,
trying to be edgy,
but not like it doesn't have a reason to be there.
Yeah, like if it had a payoff, that'd be cool. But I don't know. I never finished Coven. I stopped watching after a while.
I don't remember. Like I just don't remember that part. And it was 5 years ago. Yeah, lots of shit has happened.
Yeah.
Well,
Roanoke was phenomenal.
I thought Roanoke was good up until like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, that's fair. The reunion episodes.
Yeah, and you're like,
it's another one.
Well, it's like part of it was cool because you're like, this is exactly what would happen with like reality shit. Like that's what happens today. Yep. Like so it makes sense on why they wrote it that way. But it's also like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, no.
Why is everyone coming back to this house?
Yeah, it's like, what are you guys doing? But I did enjoy it. And like I said, it's like top 3. Plus, I love the mystery around like actual like lost colony of Roanoke.
Absolutely,
it's creepy.
Yeah,
and cool. I I read this thing on Facebook that someone posted. I actually have pictures on my phone to read them to you. Because a few years ago, I was like, I want to do like a road trip and go to like haunted places in Oregon.
Yeah.
So I looked up like the top 10 haunted places in Oregon. One of them is like Pinnock Mansion, right? Like that's one of them. So you're like, okay, like haunted places in Oregon suck.
Yeah.
Because Pinnock Mansion, it's like, it's not fucking
where I work is technically a haunted
is
hotel.
It? Yeah. So somebody wrote a guide to exploring abandoned churches.
Ooh.
Yeah. So take it for what it is, right? Because it's somebody who's just writing some stupid shit.
Yeah.
The way that I looked at this was kind of like the rules in Zombieland.
Oh.
Like
double tap, always wear a seatbelt.
Yeah, always, yeah, exactly. Like if you go if you're a part of this thing, you need to know these basic rules or else you're fucked.
Yeah, I guess that's good advice to give someone who's walking into a haunted building.
So here's the first one. If you go alone, don't bring a flashlight. You'll see things you don't want to. So that's like the first rule. Don't bring a flashlight. And you're like, all right.
I already don't like this.
Weird, yeah. This one says, the next one is don't bring groups bigger than 12. Don't know why. It just says 12. Very specific number.
Is it because it's a multiple of 6?
Don't know. They don't say.
Is it good?
Bring water and some snacks, but don't bring wine.
Jesus.
Don't know. Doesn't say. It's just these are the rules. So it's like interesting to like why is that the rule?
Wine. Huh.
If you have to sleep there, sleep in the sanctuary, but not on a pew.
A sanctuary?
It's like a cathedral, I guess.
Oh, is there a sanctuary in every church?
I would assume that would be like the like wherever you would worship, but not. But this. There aren't pews in every. I mean, there's booths, so I guess you could call them pews. But usually, pews have a place for you to kneel.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it's kind of assuming that it's more Catholic church.
That's more of the. That's
more
always,
of the haunted places. Yeah. If you tried to read the hymnal, the words won't be in English anymore. So basically, like, I think the hymnal is. I want to say it's like hymns, like right. It's like the songs. I think
won't be in English.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you know this shit? Book of Hymns. Yeah, so it's like the songs.
Huh.
The Bible will be blank until you confess.
The Bible will be blank until you confess. I feel like most of these are riddles. Like
what does it actually mean?
Yeah.
This one's kind of creepy. Don't go into the confession booth. The man talking to you is not a priest, and you don't want to know what he really is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these are, like, obviously from a credible source on Facebook, but, like...
Rocky Mountain Gothic is actually who it's from. I just thought it was creepy. Like,
absolutely.
Not at all where I'd be like, if we go, we have rules we have to follow,
exactly.
Guys. But I'd be like, whoever wrote this put some time into thinking them up, and for some reason...
They definitely have a psychological effect of just, like, I don't like that. Like, you read the first one about the flashlight, and I was like, instantly, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, and then... the cross on the wall changes locations. Don't look at it for too long. The cross is just like an Enderman. Like
Ugh.
Changing around.
I dated a girl for a while that really wanted to go to a full contact haunted house.
No, fuck that. I don't even go to regular ones.
And like, I almost went. Like that was, and then I almost went. We didn't go because I read the Yelp reviews.
Yeah, and they were like,
and this guy was like, me and my girlfriend got pinned to the ground while some guy yelled in my ear that I'm going to rape her, and they dragged her off by her hair and threw her in a fridge, and I didn't see her for the next 45 minutes. And I was just like, what? Like, we are not going. Like,
dude, I would kill people. Like, I'd be like, yeah.
I don't know why people don't fight back more. Because, like, you sign a waiver.
It's like all part of the experience.
You sign a waiver, but even legally signing a waiver isn't enough. You have to do a video document when you walk through the door. Like, you have to go up to the door and go, yep.
Yeah, right?
I'm of clear mind.
Yeah, but I'd be throwing, especially if someone's whispering that in my ear, I'd be like, oh, you're
not
dying.
Even whispering, yelling. Like, they're pinning you. Like, people left with brute. I don't like it. Don't like it.
And, like, how would you, like, why would you want to work there?
I mean, I feel like there is definitely a group of people that would love to work there.
No, but that's the creepier part.
Absolutely.
Is that like they were like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like
I can do this and get paid?
It's like how when you're a kid and you hear like this haunted house is run by old ex-convicts. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's terrifying. That's like what they...
Go get scared straight.
Yeah, what do you go for? Like,
yeah, here's a good one. If you see someone praying at the altar, don't approach them. If they approach you, don't talk to them and leave immediately. Ooh, that's one where you're like, that could be an actual rule.
Yeah.
That one is like maybe the first one where you're like, yeah, that would make sense.
These remind me of my friend told me a scary thing. It was like the scariest sentence he ever heard, where he heard voices downstairs, or he heard his name being called from downstairs. He opened the door, and he goes, "Mom," and his mom opens the door next to him and goes, "Don't go, I heard him too."
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh.
It's like those ones are like the like one paragraph scary stories.
Yeah.
Like the one that's supposed to be like really well written, and I know a lot of people like might not necessarily like if you really deconstruct them, they're terrifying.
They're absolutely terrifying.
Like the one that's supposed to be the scariest is like the last man on Earth is in a room by himself. There's a knock at the door.
Yeah.
So it's like like that's one, and you're just like, oh, dude, like people be like, that's not scary until you actually can put yourself into that position of like thinking you were, you know,
Last
Will
person
Smith
on
and
Earth.
I Am Legend.
Yeah, exactly.
And the mannequins move, and you're like,
what's happening?
Yeah. Like, are
Am
you real?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that scene.
That's a good. I Am Legends. I liked I Am Legend.
Me too.
I liked it.
I really liked it. You know what is different for me too is like when I watch some of the movies, like I Am Legend. I was young, so I didn't have the like. I'm gonna sit here and critique every part of the movie thing in my brain.
I was able to enjoy it.
I was able to just, the bliss. Yeah, and now I like every time I see something, if someone says something I don't like, or it goes like a way where I'm like, this doesn't fucking make any sense.
Yeah,
then I like it shuts it down for me really quick.
Yeah, there's definitely movies that I've seen where it just gives me a weird taste.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's what I compare it to, where I'm just like, it's a little funky at that part.
Predator?
But let's see. Oh, dude, no, Predator is a masterpiece. The Predator,
the new Predator, man.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Shane Black's perfect film.
Dude, Shane Black is a weird guy.
He's a character.
Yeah.
He makes some weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, even like so I've heard a bunch of different things because Shane Black did Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's maybe the top 3 worst MCU films. Like, I fucking hated it.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy with it either
when
I saw it in theaters, but you know, it was a Marvel movie of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Fresh off Avengers.
Yeah. Age of Ultron. No,
it was
Avengers.
Avengers.
It came before that, yeah. It was
Still
the first
phase
one,
one,
that
right?
one. Phase 2, technically, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, because Iron Man 2 was phase 1.
Yeah,
it was phase 2.
Yeah. Like, I hated it more than people dislike Iron Man 2.
Dude, that's rough because Iron Man 2 is the worst. That is a rough film. That is rough.
There's parts of it that are bad, yeah, for sure.
Oh, it was just I could not believe. I remember watching the first like Marvel movie I saw in theaters was The Avengers. Everything else I saw on DVD.
Oh, okay.
When it came out. So like I remember
watching Iron Man in theaters, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I saw Iron Man at home because my parents were like, we don't want to spend money on movie theaters. Yeah. And I was like, damn, film student.
Like
yeah. I'm like someone that wants to make movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's I remember because The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, and Thor were all distributed by Paramount.
Yeah.
So it was before
Universal too.
Yeah, and Universal. It's before Marvel Studios was like even made.
Yeah.
They were like making it, but it wasn't made yet, and Disney hadn't like done everything. It wasn't nearly what it is today, which is part of the insane thing about what they did.
Yeah.
Say what you want about all of them.
Yeah, it's still an achievement.
Oh, like it's pinnacle.
Yeah.
Of shit. Like,
it's scary though.
It is. Yeah, there's parts of it that are scary, like in terms of being in control of everything.
Well, I think it's just more so the fact that with so many companies that there's really only like 3 major studios right now in America that make films.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, Disney, and Sony, I guess.
Sony's still in it.
Yeah,
Sony's still in it.
The only reason why that Sony is anything though is because of Spider-Man and right now, what is it? Jumanji.
Yes.
Well, I guess Universal's okay with a Fast franchise, but other than that, they're fucked.
Absolutely. But everyone's wanting to make this universe now, thanks to Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, one that did a decent job, in my opinion. Some of them are obviously worse movies than others, but the Conjuring universe, they've done a pretty good job of building some stuff.
I think that's really the only franchise that I've seen that's been able to copy the Marvel method and apply it to themselves. But that being said, there are some really awful films. Like I hated
The Nun.
I hated the first Annabelle. Loved the second Annabelle. Hated the third.
The third one wasn't. I didn't feel like. So for me, I liked the third one, but only not because of like the start to end of what this story was about, but because I got to see a bunch of the other things that they had, and I was like, I want a movie about that.
Exactly. But that's exactly what that movie was. That movie was a tasting platter for future films.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
And probably the only parts that I enjoyed. Like it was because I could be like, oh, there's that. Like, and I was like, oh, I want to know more about the fucking samurai, or oh, I want to know more about like what is that TV and why can it see the future?
Yeah, I did like how the third Annabelle introduced spirits that were good.
Yeah,
I did found that interesting.
Yeah,
because
I talk about this all the time.
Oh yeah,
about how there's not enough good intervention in horror movies.
Yes,
like in the second Annabelle, the guy's holding like a crucifix, and the demon just rips his arms off or his fingers off the thing.
Yep,
and it's like, well, come on, like you got to give me gotta give it something.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved the second Annabelle, but if you really think about it, it's just about an evil spirit bullying this girl who can't walk. Like,
yeah, fair.
But it's an evil spirit, right?
Target it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's because The Exorcist is based off true events.
Yes.
And so, which is part of the reason why it makes it so fucking scary.
Mm-hmm.
And
that term based on true events is so interesting when you think about it when it's applied to film.
Yeah, because I mean, all it has to have is like the name of the character, and that's it. So there's that. Like for instance, Jaws is based off true events.
Yeah, Fargo is, and none of it happened.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like it's one of those things that it only needs to have one or two like things that are close, or they use characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I liked, I don't know, it's just part of it is a bummer because you want to see like more of the good natured stuff. Because at the end of all these horror movies, it's always like good wins, but it's like good didn't do shit the whole fucking movie.
Good was in the corner crying.
Yeah,
like good.
Yeah. So it's like what? There's some stuff like I liked the eerie feel of The Nun, but the movie together wasn't put together as well as some of the other like The Conjuring, for instance. Or like The Conjuring 2. Like, I like the creepy feel, but then when you get to the point where it's like, you need to use the blood of Jesus. It's like,
well, the movie starts with a nun hanging herself. You can't really beat that. Like, that's the thing.
Of creepiness?
Yeah. Like, that's... Like, when you walk in there, you're expecting, okay, this is gonna be a fun Conjuring movie. And then a nun just straight up jumps off the top of a chapel and hangs herself. Yeah. And then the rest of the movie, you're just like, how are they going to top this? And the answer is they make it a what's a gore porn, like just at the very end with just the shot of the nun, just blood pouring out of its mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it doesn't go as far as gore porn in the sense of like Saw, or something like that. It's not like chop off your arms and legs and maybe we'll let you live.
Yeah, but it definitely had some Michael Bay gore like shots.
So
in it.
Like kind of some silly stuff, but that was what also like for the nun, it was so creepy in like the first and second one because you didn't really know. It was mysterious, and you didn't really know what the fuck was going on.
And it was also the painting.
Yeah, and the painting, and it's all that stuff. But like then when you get to like
its own thing,
when you get to a point where like things scream and you fly backwards, it's like come on.
Yeah,
you know?
and I found it really weird that they ended The Nun with the video.
Yeah, from the first
Conjuring. And I felt like that was so funny because when I rewatched the first Conjuring, I was like, are those the same actors in that shot? Not at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I looked too, and it wasn't the same. I thought that it was an interesting way. It would have been very interesting. It would have been way better
to see that play
if
out.
It was. Well, yeah, but like if it was, like you would have been like, cool.
Yeah, they planned this.
But then you were like, oh, someone thought about it like probably 3/4 of the way shooting the fucking movie, and they were like, oh wait, like this is actually how we're gonna end it.
Or did you see La Llorona?
No, I never saw it, but that's part of that universe too.
Yeah, I saw it not knowing.
Yeah,
I it was about halfway through the movie where I go, like I was watching it with my girlfriend. I was like, I looked over at her and I went, hey, that guy who's playing this priest, he was in the first Annabelle.
Yeah.
And then she goes, oh, wow, he must only play priest.
Yeah.
And then they have a flashback in black and white with him holding the Annabelle doll. And I nearly flipped out. Like, I was like, what is happening? What is
Yeah. Yeah.
How did I not know?
That would be hilarious. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, I explained it like that reaction was probably exactly the same reaction I had in The Winter Soldier when they mentioned Stephen Strange. I was the only person in a full theater who was like, and everyone's just like, I was like, what the fuck?
God, this is a really good film.
Yeah, that's probably up there too. Winter Soldier is really good.
Winter Soldier, I think, is one of my favorite spy films. I don't even classify it as a Marvel film. It's good.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Russos are really talented.
They're really good. Yeah,
really talented.
Really smart.
Did you hear about all the new casting rumors?
I've heard some stuff. But for who specifically?
Well, I've heard
I know that they said they were going to have like a Tony Stark cameo and Black Widow. Like they announced that.
Yeah. They've also
which is kind of weird.
It's very weird. It's weird that Endgame isn't his send off. I would have thought, and I've heard that he's going to return for an Ironheart project.
You know,
as well.
I mean,
whether or not it's an AI or like a hologram memory bank, I don't know.
would have. Okay, so this is what I want. I think we talked about it too. Mm-hmm. In Spider-Man: Far From Home was when he puts on the glasses. I didn't want it to be Edith or whatever the fuck. I wanted it to be
Tony.
Him.
Yeah,
that's what it should have been because it allows Robert to kind of stay. Well, not so much anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have stayed in the franchise in a very Tony Stark way.
Yeah.
Like he turned the butler into Jarvis, the same voice, right?
True.
Like, you know.
True.
That guy and so like that would have been a really interesting.
No, Jarvis was Vision, the same voice of Vision.
No, I know, but like when he goes back in Endgame to talk to his dad.
Oh yeah.
Jarvis was the name of the butler, so he turned like that into the into like his butler.
Yeah, his memory.
His AI butler.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was just some stuff that I would have just really. But also, it's like, if you're going to do, like, so one cliche about comic book movies is they don't actually kill anyone. Like,
no one's actually dead.
So it's like, you just got to let them go. But I always find it weird when you go a flashback movie and you have a Black Widow movie that's supposed to happen, I think, between, like...
I heard it's Civil War and whatever's after that.
Yeah, it's like between Civil War and Infinity War. It's like in between that, I thought. So it's so weird that we don't hear them talk about that at all. Like nothing. Like, hey, what the fuck were you doing? During this time, like when you left, like how were you in hiding? What were you doing while you were in hiding? So why are we getting a Black Widow film but not like a Cap film? What was Cap doing when he was? I don't know, but it's just an interesting thing to me.
Yeah, that Black Widow film. I'm excited for it, but
I like Taskmaster.
It's gonna be interesting. Taskmaster,
mostly because of the Spider-Man game that I played. I was like, oh fuck, he's cool.
Yeah. I'm excited for Taskmaster to be in the movies, but I'm also scared that we're gonna get not the Taskmaster. Like they're gonna pull some Iron Man 3 stuff and be like, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Or like,
oh, please, for the love of God.
What I was talking about with the rumors of casting, they said that they're looking at Denzel Washington for Magneto.
Yes, I did see that.
That's cool. I like
that. It's such an interesting thing for me. I guess Marvel, this is what I said when they cast Ben Affleck, was like, Ben Affleck's older, not old, but older.
Yeah.
And he's not going to want to do it for a long time.
No.
That's why, like, when they got Robert Downey Jr., they got him when he, like, had fucking nothing else.
Yeah.
So, like, if this makes him, he's going to commit because this is what brought him kind of back, you know?
It
got
100% did.
So,
100%.
Denzel doesn't need to do anything. So if he plays one role as Magneto, like, is he going to play 10? 5? What are we expecting from the X-Men?
With a role like Magneto, though, I don't think you need to be prominent in the films. I don't think you need your own film. I think you can be, like, in one or twice, you know.
Yeah, do one,
in and
do
out.
Two, yeah.
Kind of like a...
He's just such an interesting character, I think.
Absolutely. I think it'd be really cool. And I also do think it would be cool to see them be different races, though, than what we've seen.
Oh, yeah, that's totally...
like that.
I never get... That's the weird part about things right now, is, like, how upset people get about weird shit like that.
Yeah, if they can play him good, play him good.
Yeah, it's like, just reserve it. Just reserve your opinion until the fucking end of the movie.
Exactly.
Like, if they're good at it, like, what the fuck does it matter?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I really... I love the idea of Denzel Washington being Magneto, but I also think it's interesting that they are working on X-Men casting so quickly.
Well,
I think
it's because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think so too.
They were like, okay.
Yeah, they're really rushing Iron Lad stuff too. Or
Yeah,
Ironheart.
I'm super bummed about the Spider-Man stuff.
It's a mixed feeling.
I get why Sony said no to like obviously the original like 50-50 split, because if they go 50-50, Sony makes no money. They're fucked.
Yeah.
As a studio, as a whole studio, because this is literally like all they fucking.
Yeah, they got that in James Bond.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought Daniel Craig was supposed to be done, but I guess he's playing another one.
I think this is his last one.
Yeah.
It's a send off.
I talked about this the other day. Was like I thought they announced that there was the next person to pick up the role was going to be a female James Bond, who was black.
No. That
was that like a casting rumor that fell through?
No. The story basically where it's picking up. So Inspector, spoilers for Spectre, but at the end basically he retires.
Yeah,
right? He's no longer part of the MI6.
Yeah.
So the movie's gonna start with him being retired, and then he's gonna be pulled back into the game somehow. And when he goes back into his game, his 00 title has been taken by someone else who is played by an African American woman.
Yeah, it was such an interesting thing because for a long time, like people were really pushing for like Idris Elba to like take the role, and then
people are still
and they were like
very much
no.
so.
They're like no, and it was the whole. I mean, part of the reason
I thought he would have killed it.
Would have destroyed. Did you watch Luther?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like you watch Luther and you're like Idris Elba could really run this game.
He could do great. I think that'd be a really cool twist too. But then again, I heard that they want someone young. That's the issue.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue. Idris is a little old at this point, and they just did old with Daniel Craig, even though he's not really that old.
Yeah, and when he started, it wasn't that.
But his knees are gone.
Oh, I bet.
His knees, like Skyfall, he broke his ankle and his knee, had to go surgery. And then Spectre, he re-broke the knee. And then he was like, I'm not even doing the stunts in the new one because I don't even want to risk it.
Yeah, I mean... it's so crazy because when you do your own stunts, like Tom Cruise breaks his ankle,
dude,
and like that kind of stuff. Like when you're doing some, like it's a movie, but you don't always think that you're gonna get destroyed like that. They really do get fucked up.
One of the most mind-boggling things for me was that Tom Cruise did all those stunts, right, in Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah,
but for the Screen Actors Guild Award, guess who won for best stunts? And Fallout was nominated.
I don't know.
For best stunts.
I don't remember.
Black Panther.
Oh.
But it's...
What?
Yeah, but majority of the
like
fight
CGI
scenes
stuff.
is completely CGI.
Yeah.
It's insane. And when you look at behind the scenes, it's green screens. Not to be said that it isn't like a technical film. It is. It's
or
but
even
it's
like
not.
there's not like choreography in it, but it's not like practical shit, which should win most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise hung from a helicopter with no safety net. Like, and then he flew the helicopter.
That's
wild.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy how like political the Oscars and stuff are. Like, I don't know how it works, but
I don't look at the Oscars anymore. I don't idolize them. I always idolize film festivals now. I think they're the ones with the best interest if you like film. Like
yeah, in terms of like, do you ever feel like though that like some film festivals just get too into themselves, like they could kind of become pretentious?
Oh, like, film festivals are pretentious. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter which one you go to. You're going to meet someone there who's going to say something that is the most pretentious shit you've ever heard.
Right.
But I think that's just inherent with film.
Yeah, because you're just kind of... Or art.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. Well, how many years of school do you have left, man?
This is my last one.
Last one.
I'm graduating fall.
In fall. That's crazy, man.
It is insane.
You have so you have 1 year left. Is the full year like 15 credits, 12 credits, like full term stuff?
It's pretty packed, yeah. I'm taking 16 credits. 16
each term?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. My fall term is going to be, I think, my lightest.
Okay.
But until then, I didn't know how many credits were a lot when I first started, because like my first 3 terms at Portland State, I took 20 credits.
Were you just slammed?
And then I tried. I was slammed. I was doing it all, and then I worked at the movie theater as well, doing all that. And then I remember like doing all this stuff and my friend's complaining. He was taking, I think, 12 credits at a time and goes, I don't have enough time for any of this. And then he looks, I'm like, dude, I'm taking 20 credits.
Yeah.
He's like, chill. And I tried to go to my counselor to sign up for 25 credits because it tried stopping me. And then my counselor went, are you okay? Do you don't want to do this?
Yeah.
You're taking 16. They're like, how fast do you want to get out of here?
Yeah. Well, it's like, well, really fucking fast.
Really fast. Yeah.
So you're going for film.
I am.
So what is your ideal like path once you get the degree? So like, are you gonna try and do stuff here? Are you gonna try and move to LA?
I think I would first. I think it's more practical to try to do stuff here first.
Yeah.
Netflix is opening up a new animation studio in Portland. IFC does a few things down here. There's some stuff to work on.
Phil Knight's son's company. That's here too.
That is, but
not around.
It is, but it's very hard to get into.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, that's the thing about
They also
film.
do like claymation shit too.
They also do, which terrifies me. But like, it's. I feel like majority of film, you have to have a contact to get in, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You know, someone's daughter is gonna get in because like it. One of the biggest things that annoyed me that was announced this year, right? Marvel Comics posted a Spiderweb 4 on Twitter, and everyone thought it was going to be a comic book adaptation of Spider-Man 4, the Sam Raimi one that was never released.
Right.
It wasn't. It was an announcement for J.J. Abrams' son to him and J.J. are writing this comic book series. And I'm like, God, I wish J.J. was my dad. Like,
yeah, I guess that's totally fair. I mean, I think that's almost all the jobs I've ever had, probably all of them have been because I've known someone who was there.
Yeah, same.
So,
Same.
I think that's just kind of how it works, but probably it's more even like escalated in film.
And that's not to say, like, I'm not shitting on JJ and his son and being like, oh, his son's not talented.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's easier. Like,
it's easier for sure.
I can't walk up to Marvel and be like, I'm going to write for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, there's a class I'm taking in the winter term with it's a writing comics class because I was really interested in that. I also need to take a 300 level class of some sort. And the guy who's doing it wrote a lot for Marvel Comics. Like, he did a few Wolverine storylines, Black Panther.
Yeah. Did you ever listen to the second season of the Wolverine?
I haven't gotten to it.
I haven't gotten to it either.
Oh,
the first one was so good.
First one was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten to it because I'm worried.
Yeah, because you're like, because the first one was good.
It was.
Like, what's the second one going to be? For those of you guys who don't know, there's a Wolverine podcast that's like it's a story, though. Mm-hmm. It's about 30 minutes long for each episode. Give or take a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. And it does this really cool thing where it tells the story of like them trying to find there are these two detectives who are trying to find like what the fuck's going on in this town. Mm-hmm. You start to see stuff, but it's called Wolverine the Long Night.
Yeah.
And it does this really cool feel of like you really do feel like you're in the car with them, of like, because they do like the car sounds and the radio's on quiet and like you can hear kind of the bumps, and then when they're out they like transition, hear the car shutting, and you can start to hear like the waves, and they do a really good job of like audio sensory like overload kind of like you being like, I know exactly where I am.
Exactly.
They do a good job.
It's familiar tastes. Mm-hmm. Like it's really good. I compared the first season to like X-Files.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
It did feel like X-Files. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like it was really good. It got the ending was a little weird, but I feel like any comic book thing, it gets a little weird towards the end. Yeah, it always is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
And especially when you get to an end where you have to do a climax that's going to be about action without being able to visually see it, makes it hard.
And kind of going full circle, that's how I kind of felt that It Chapter 2 probably wouldn't do well, or people wouldn't like it as much, just because of how weird it gets in the third act.
Yeah, it does get weird.
It gets really weird.
I mean, like, even the Chinese food restaurant scene, like there's weird stuff in there.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
The baby crying.
Yeah,
and things
I think people's expectations were that it was going to be like the first film, and it's not at all. And I think that's a great way to do a sequel.
Yeah,
you make a completely different
during the first opening, like with some of the verbiage they use and the words and stuff. I was like, oh, they're going for it.
Yeah. They're going for it.
Yeah, they're deep in this. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, it was cool.
Yeah.
Not afraid. I like it.
Yeah, I loved it. I also liked how like I thought Bill Hader was phenomenal in it.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Barry?
I haven't seen Barry.
Dude, you gotta watch Barry. That's an HBO show. That's a must watch. 5 hours each season.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
30-minute episodes.
I think, yeah, it is interesting how like you have like James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and who's the other one?
The Old Spice guy.
No, is that him?
Yeah, the guy that goes, look down, look up. That's Mike.
No way.
I'm
is
not.
it him?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Turn around, look up, look at
He
these
looks
diamonds.
old.
Yeah.
Because he definitely looked the oldest out of all of them.
Yeah, I think that's intentional though.
Yeah.
That's how it happens
he's
in the
there.
book. Yeah.
Just
Well,
like,
I mean,
fuck.
in the book, he's like addicted to opioids or something like that as
was
well.
he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did the peyote shit or whatever the fuck. He's like taking DMT and shit.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
tribal people.
Yeah.
But he, it was kind of like those guys who were like the big ones, and then the other characters were played by like really less. Like in my opinion, I don't really know what a lot of the other guys were from.
The only actor that I knew who was from was the guy that played the adult version of Eddie, only because I've seen Sinister.
Oh, okay.
He's
he is.
He's
in
the
Sinister.
deputy in Sinister.
Yeah, he is in Sinister. But other than that,
yeah,
But then you have James McAvoy and Jessica. Dude, the one thing that I love about James, and this is why he was so perfect for playing Bill, was how good he is with his voice and like the stutter.
Yeah,
and it's just perfect.
I feel like that's the downfall of like the original miniseries is that the stutter for both the kid and the adult feels very offensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it feels so like stuh, like
yeah.
Spit it out, Billy. like.
Yeah, I think they both do a really great job of it, of being sincere with it and like making it sound like it is part of their speech. Like that's just how they would normally talk.
Yeah, I also felt like Chapter 2 was a movie I was really excited for, and I made like a dream cast after it won, like who would be good. And Jessica Chastain and Bill Hader were both in my dream cast.
There you go.
Those were the only people.
Yeah.
I wanted Patrick Wilson to play Stuttering Bill.
Yeah.
Partly because the book says he has a receding hairline, and I was like, Patrick Wilson, he's good.
Patrick Wilson's also in every horror movie
Absolutely.
ever made.
I'm like, he has to. Like, he's gonna fit in it. And then I wanted Adam Scott to play Eddie.
Yeah, that would have been good, and he would have played well with
Bill Hader.
Yeah,
Which I mean, not the guy who plays Eddie was awesome in it.
Yeah, he played really well. He did a good job.
Yeah, I love the shower scene, like, or he gets like stabbed in the face.
That was hilarious.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
yeah, it was really good. They did do a good job.
How do you feel about the random "Just Call Me Angel" in the morning song when the vomit gets in his face?
I laughed.
Oh, I was dying.
Yeah.
But like everyone in a dude stood up in my theater and went, "What the fuck happened?"
Okay.
Like,
okay. Answer me this, because I felt like this was something that I left the theater going like, was that real? When he was down there with the leper and it's his mom in the chair. Mom's not really there.
Mom's not really there.
Okay.
No.
I just want to make sure, because I was also like, didn't he say she died?
Yeah.
Or like, wasn't she also?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
And another thing they put in the book that put in the movie was with in the book, when it's talking about adult Eddie, it describes that his wife is also big, just like his mom.
Yeah.
And like they look exactly like each other.
Yeah.
And they're played by the same actress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They just like, I don't know what they do.
The same actress, just put in a different wig.
Oh, interesting.
And put her in different makeup, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back on to you a little bit. So
Sure.
when you're done, try and do stuff around here. You said that Netflix is opening up another animation. So but when I was talking to you, you weren't. I don't remember. You were doing one class that you didn't like, but I thought it had something to do with animation. Or
that was my special effects class.
Special effects.
Yeah. I don't think I had anything to do with the material more than the instructor. I don't think it was his best.
Oh, okay.
It was just a really rough term. I think everyone just ended up passing. Like he gave everyone A's pretty much, because I remember he handed out the finals to everyone, and it's like a 50-question multiple choice final, and then he goes, "Okay, guys, so this was not my best term. We went a little slower, so we didn't cover all the material. So I'm just gonna tell you which questions to cross off, and you're gonna get points for those." So at the end of that, we already crossed off 25 questions.
Of how many?
Of 50.
Oh. So you automatically have a 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we all filled it out, and then at the end of that day, we get an email that said, it was from him. He goes, hey guys, judging by your guys' answers, and you all got the wrong ones on the same question, I'm just going to assume that we didn't get over enough, and then we're going to just give you the points for those ones anyways.
So that's kind of it's an interesting thing because you kind of go like, dude, you weren't a great teacher, but it's also cool that he didn't have that ego of being like, I know I taught you this shit, even though every student fucked it up.
Well, I feel like he knows he fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was the worst orchestrated class I have ever taken at a college. Like, it was rough. Like, the first class, it was syllabus day, and there was, I think the class started with 18 students, right?
Okay.
How long, it's a 4-hour class. How long do you think roll call took?
Well, if 18 students should take
18
like
students.
10 minutes. Tops.
10 minutes? Took 3.5 hours.
Why?
Because he asked us to say what our favorite movies were.
And then just conversation.
And then he was.
How are you gonna ask 18 film students their favorite movie and not act like it's not just gonna be the longest day?
No, but it wasn't even that. It wasn't even the film student's fault. He would chime in and he would name drop and he would be like, "Oh, Lord of the Rings, you know."
I worked on that shit.
Yeah, no, he's like, I was in it. He's like, you know that big, huge battle scene? You know, it's like the biggest CGI shot of all time. Yeah, I worked on the swords. And it's just like, oh my God. And he's like,
Dude, that would be so tedious.
Dude, every fucking movie. Like, he's like, oh, Deadpool? I worked on his face. Like, just keeps going. And he's like, oh, sorry, guys. I'm a little tired today. Just flew back from New Zealand because I was working on Mortal Engines. And it's like, I hate you so much. And by the end of the class, there was only 8 students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people dropped quick.
Yeah, wow.
Quick. And then, yeah.
Wow.
But I got the credit. So
Yeah.
on my transcript, it looks like I did really well in
yeah.
special effects.
Does that kind of scare you, though? Like, someone's going to look at them and be like, wow, you got an A in special effects. Do you want to do this? And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, no, I would be like, yeah, absolutely, sure. But, you know, even my final special effects project was awful. Like, it was this Tommy Wiseau Looney Tunes thing that I made because I didn't know what to do.
Just stoned and I had no idea what I was doing.
Nah, it wasn't that. Nah, it was more like it was 4 a.m. the night before it was due, and I was like, I need to make something. And I had the room on my laptop.
Oh, okay.
So I just took out the MP4 file.
I don't think that movie made me laugh really hard, The Disaster Artist.
Oh, yeah, it's a good
which
one.
a lot of people didn't like, but I was like, you guys just don't get it.
You don't get it.
There's
like
pretentious.
It's good.
There's
it's
being
good.
pretentious. You just don't understand.
It's really good. I love The Disaster Artist. There's a few films that come out that I'm really pretentious about.
Yeah.
It's Hereditary.
Hereditary's good.
Hereditary I loved.
Yeah.
I loved. You know this. But have you seen Midsommar?
No. Kirsten and Blake told me about it, and they told me one scene. I was like, yeah, I don't really need to see it then.
I loved Midsommar. I loved it.
Yeah.
But that being said, we went to opening night. It was me and my girlfriend, and I drag her to all these movies because that's her job. And then,
yes.
And then my parents heard that I was going to see a movie, and they're like, "Oh, we'll tag along." And then, you know, my entire family came.
Oh, God.
And now the movie ends, and they go, "Well, that was awful." Like, they're just all pissed. There was like, there was a penis, and I was like, "Whoop-de-doo, there was a penis."
Yeah.
I'm like, God.
Yeah, that is always awkward though when you end up going to a movie with like your parents and
really graphic sex scenes
or stuff like that. With my mom. I went to see the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Ooh, that's a mistake. That is a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And there was parts of the time where I was like, dude, I kind of want to go. Like in that movie where I was like, I don't need to see any of this shit.
Yeah, that's a pretty graphic movie.
Yeah. It's rough. Yeah, man. Well,
but yeah, my goal is to write.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, like,
direct stuff.
Yeah, so that's what you'd like to do.
That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, you don't want to be behind the camera, not in front.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
primarily.
most people who go to film school probably that's what they're going.
Pretty
for.
much, yeah. If you want to be in front of the camera, you take an action major or a theater major.
Yeah. Well, what kind of stuff do you like? Because I know, like, every time I talk to you, you're working on something different.
Yeah.
Like, what's something that
my constant?
Yeah, like something that you really want to make. Like, do you want to do a bunch of like action or comedy or horror, or what's the thing that you want to do that you're most interested in? I guess.
I want to do a lot of high concept stuff. So basically, like comedy, horror. Like I want to do a mix of genres. I don't want to just do that. Like I think my big what if project I think I've told you about, but it's I really want. I've been writing the spec script. I have several scripts that I work on at a time, and then I have a script that I work on, which is, it's not my practical script. It's a script I can't work on without the rights or without a huge budget.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm in the middle of writing a remake for the movie The Mask.
Yeah.
With Jim Carrey, but closer to the source material.
Yeah, darker.
Very darker.
Yeah.
Like a horror
the
film.
comic
Shot like a comedy
dark.
horror. Yeah, it's very dark.
Yeah.
Very dark. It has like large comedy. Like it has a large commentary on how childhood television shows impact the mind on violence, and like how like Tom and Jerry or Looney Tunes can impact that. And it's pretty interesting. But I wanted to focus more on like the horror aspects, because there's like a scene in the comic where like this gay guy walks into a bikers club, and the bikers club all pick on him, right?
Yeah,
and they're all like, "Get out of here, fairy!"
Yeah.
And he goes like, "Oh, well, how'd you know?" And then he like rips off his own face, and it's the mask underneath. And I love that. Like I thought that was so cool, that imagery of like the flesh peeling off the face, and it's like green face underneath.
Yeah, super creepy.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
But that's the big one I'm working on. And then but like I've been working on I wanted to write a 6-episode, 10-page per episode miniseries that I'm working on, and then I would film it all and then release it episode by episode on the internet, and then afterwards, when it's all finished,
Vimeo or some shit like that.
yeah, and then after that's all finished, I'd have a premiere at the Portland State.
Cool.
As edited all together.
Yeah.
So it's like a movie kind of.
Yeah. You want to talk about what it is?
You
keep it to yourself.
I want to keep it a little to myself.
Yeah.
But it's definitely what I call it is it's a. When I try to explain it to people, I say it's a love letter to the horror genre, and the first season in quotations, you know, like a first is focusing on the slasher genre, because I feel like that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's definitely fun.
And then I want the second season to be like possession and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's possession horror.
Okay.
But I want it to be like a different genre each season that focus around, but with the same characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, gotta go through this shit?
Yeah.
This time it's fucking ghosts.
Yeah, like it's definitely influenced.
At least no one's trying to chop us in half.
Exactly. It's definitely influenced a lot by like Stephen King's The Shining, and I want to say like Dirk Gently. Have you ever watched Dirk Gently?
No.
It's pretty good. It's based off of a book, but it's an Elijah Wood show. It's really funny. It's a holistic detective.
Okay.
But it's what I'm writing is basically like this person who. I guess I'll talk about it. Fuck it.
You don't have to, because I was gonna say like I have a because National Novel Writing Month is coming up, and so I have a really cool book idea.
Oh yeah.
That I'm gonna try. Like I'm gonna start to write
Absolutely.
in November. But I don't want to talk about it, because
fair.
every time I fucking talk about something,
It gets made.
someone makes it.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, motherfucker.
Absolutely.
I talked about the other day when I had my friends Colby and Michelle were on, and their episode doesn't come out until October. And
what?
yeah. And so we talked about it, and I was like, I talked. One of the ideas that I had written down was that I wanted to have a hypnotherapist who would hypnotize people and like kind of go into like that dream state of like Freddy Krueger and like being in their dreams, and then Get Out comes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, I had that idea. Yeah. Like that, like not the exact idea, but like you can't make a hypnotherapy thing now, because that's what it is. Yeah. So,
but like,
or at least you can, but you gotta wait a couple more years.
Yeah. The thing I see with my worst, the part that hinders my ability to create stuff is I've noticed is that my worry of that I'm copying someone else.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like, I've noticed that you know,
like like not consciously, like you're writing it, and then like someone starts reading, and you're like, dude, you just wrote.
Well, like I'm a huge fan of horror films.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of horror films, and specifically like Scream and
Scream's
Friday the
great,
13th, and there's a few moments in what I'm writing, especially with us just talking about Stephen King, that I'm just like, oh, people are gonna think I'm copying so and so. But it's one of those things where I just love it. It's a love letter. It's not. Yeah. I'm not writing it necessarily. It is my own thing. It has an interesting own take. I wrote the scene and I based this whole series around this one scene of basically like. This doesn't give anything away, so I don't mind telling you. But basically, like, two friends walk into this house together, right? And they're investigating this house because they believe whoever lives here is the murderer.
Yeah, right.
And they're all investigating shit, moving through shit, and guy looks over at the dining room table who's in the far side of the house while the guy's still close by the front door. And he goes like, oh, shit, the coffee's still hot. And then he goes back and he's like, dude, there's someone still. And Risey says that the killer pops out of nowhere, right? Slams him to the wall, stabs him. You see his best friend die. And then the friend that sees this happening from the perspective of the front door just goes, nope, and just turns around and walks down the street and leaves. And that's kind of where my idea took off for it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so, I definitely like that comedic one take effect of just following him going, nope, not today. Not going that way. That is bad. Can't help you.
That is interesting. I think too, like, the thing is even if you didn't, like, I don't think that most people really want to, like, copy other people's work, especially if you are, like, trying to be artistic or trying to make things that you want hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands, tens of, whatever, people to enjoy, and you don't want to copy people because that shit's people are gonna know really quickly. So, but no matter what, if you read something, you watch something, like, that's gonna spark it. Like, you probably had an idea because you watched something else, and you're like, oh, they didn't do, like, I always have this where I'm watching a movie or I'm reading a book and I've been like, I would have written it, or I would have chose to do it this way instead. Yeah. Like in A Fault in Our Stars, so not really a horror, but kind of a horror.
Yeah.
I would have ended the book abruptly.
Yeah.
Because she wrote it from her perspective, and the book that she reads
ends
in the
abruptly.
book ends abruptly. It's exactly how I would have ended it.
Yeah.
The movie would have ended the exact same way. She would have been in some fucking monologue, and it would have gone to black, and that would have been the fucking end, and everyone would have been pissed.
Absolutely.
And I don't care.
People get pissed off of endings.
And so, I know, like, every person I tell that to is like, that's the worst ending I've ever heard. And I'm like, that's why it's good. That's good. It's because you don't expect it, and it's not what you wanted.
It's a good ending. And it's set up beforehand.
And it's set up in the movie, in the book the whole time. Mm-hmm. And so the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, how some people, if you hear those people who fucking read, like, the last page of a book.
Oh, and then start?
And then they start?
Yeah, I know one of those people.
It's crazy. But, like, the whole time, that's what I wanted to do, because I was like, I'm going to be so fucking mad at this book if I get to the end and it doesn't just cut off. Ugh. And it didn't, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I think that they did something. They did a very toned down version of that for the end, if I remember correctly, right? It just, you don't know her fate ultimately.
No, you don't. But, like, the whole time you're thinking like she's the one who's gonna get sick, is a guy who gets sick, and yeah. Or I guess they were both already sick, but sicker.
Yeah.
I also kind of like the idea that, and I can't remember the characters' names now, but, like, Ansel Egert's character, like, is at his own wake. Like, he's at his own eulogy. He brings all the two friends to, like, write like he's already dead. Yeah. Like, say this thing. Well, like, say what you really want to say about me now so I can hear it, and then give the watered down, like, parent version. Like, the things that you can't say in front of the parents, you say that when I'm gone. Yeah. But you tell me what you actually think of me and, like, how you feel about me now. Yeah. I liked that part, but then I was like, but that bitch needs to be dead.
Yeah.
He needs to live.
Everyone needs to die.
Yeah. I was just like, that's a better, in my opinion, is better ending.
Yeah. I just noticed with, like, a lot of films, especially with big directors, a lot of directors take shots from other movies, and it's just like you realize that film is more of a communal aspect than it is a solo,
and kind of what you think too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, because there's a cinematic grammar set up in American Hollywood cinema. Yeah. It's that needs to be followed to convey an emotion, to do something special. Like with The Shining, with when Jack Nicholson is crushing down the door, right? That is shot for shot a 1920 silent film.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty insane when you see them side by side. But at the same time, you just realize that it's just, oh, this is Stanley Kubrick being a pretentious asshole plugging this in. But at the same time, you're like, but it's a great shot.
Yeah, but
like
it's
it's
good,
great.
yeah.
And no one would have caught on that was. I think that's the benefit of being pretentious in film, is because like, oh, have you seen Space Cowboy 3, Revenge of the Zorlak?
Yeah.
And then no, everyone's like, no one's
Zorlak,
seen
is
that.
Parks and Rec?
I don't know, maybe.
What's that thing in Parks
Maybe.
and Rec?
Again, subliminally copying shit.
What's that thing in Parks and Rec when they have the people from the park and they think it's like the lizard god that's going to like eat the world?
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah.
You don't remember that episode?
Oh, I remember that, but I don't remember the specific name.
I'm pretty sure I saw like you buy a book about that.
Yeah.
You worship that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I rent a park every year.
Yeah, yeah. The Grand Lizard made a mistake. It's next year.
Yeah.
It's next.
Dude, you know what I always think about too about Parks and Rec specifically is like how small that town is and how fucking weird.
Amazing.
And all the shit that happens there, you're like,
Yeah.
wait a second.
That's why I like it more than The Office.
Do you like it more than The Office?
I do.
What parts about it do you think are better?
I think,
or worse, or whatever. Like which
well, I think that The Office limited itself
to The Office.
to The Office
Yeah.
with like its humor, because the only weird people are in The Office. If you go outside that, it's reality. People
That's
are
fair.
very serious and like are weirded out by Michael Scott. They're the straight man. Michael Scott is the weird guy.
Yeah, I definitely think that's on purpose too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But with Parks and Rec, they're weird inside, and you're like, these guys are weird. No one's weirder than these guys. And then they walk out the door, and you meet Jam. Like,
Yeah, Jam and the guy who does all the cologne.
yeah.
That guy. What I was watching a blooper, and they were like, I can't remember the name of the cologne,
But it's just offensive.
but it's like
probably.
it's a nasty one. He's
Yeah.
like, well, why is it that way? And it's like because it was actually inside someone.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of. I love the Burt Macklin bits.
Oh
Chris
yeah.
Pratt. I think that's Chris Pratt's like peak is Parks and Rec. That's his best. I mean, not obviously physically.
Yeah.
But like his humor is
Yeah.
hilarious in that film. I mean,
The thing is,
show.
that's something crazy about Chris Pratt that I've noticed is like he seems and still does like he seemed very happy when he was looking like that, and he seems very happy now that he's looking like this. And if he went back to looking like that, he'd be perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
For himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is cool with Chris.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't like. I think now because he's buffed up like for Guardians, like he's getting some of those other roles like Jurassic Park. Which, by the way, did you watch the 9-minute short that they put out?
No.
No, you didn't.
No.
Oh,
No.
it's bad.
Wow, let me put my shocked face on. I saw like I saw Jurassic World, the first one, in theaters, and I was like, okay. Like I was like, I liked it. It's like homage-y
Then you
to
watched it
Jurassic
the second
Park.
time.
And then I watched Jurassic Park 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that movie is insane.
Yeah, so
like
bad.
it's gonna be Planet of the Apes, right?
Yeah, it's like the dinosaurs are going to take over.
I'm assuming that's what that 9-minute short is that
Yeah,
they're
it's like-
taking over LA and there's like a dinosaur running a tram car. Go-
No. So it's this is the craziest part.
Oh no, is it someone that's died in the past movie?
No.
Okay.
So it's nothing like so revealing or so insane that you're like, whoa, like there's Alan Grant.
Is there
Like,
going to be a
it's not
Hobbs and
that.
Shaw crossover? Because I would watch that. That's how Jurassic World will bring me back.
But what I noticed was, okay, none of the adults seem to know what dinosaurs are. They're like, what is that? And it's so clearly like a fucking triceratops.
Yeah.
And the little girl who's like 12, like 7 is like, that's a fucking triceratops, and like names like the Italian word.
Yeah.
And she's like talking about it, and like, all right.
Yeah.
But it's like you literally had a theme park.
Yeah,
these things.
Yeah. A successful theme park.
Yeah, like
it opened.
It was open for a while
Yeah.
before shit hit the fan. And like it got to the point where it was so successful that businesses were paying money to create their own hybrid dinosaurs.
Yeah. For
Verizon
war.
Wireless. Yeah, for war. That was the original and what they went for and 2 was like that was what they were gonna do.
I would have loved to see like a scene of night vision velociraptors in a cave somewhere
Dude, it's
in
just
Iran.
so silly. And then and so then you got 2, which was just terrible. But now like they are out, and the way that they're like camping, and they're like basically they think that where they are nothing has come up that far north or that high up in elevation. Okay. Then obviously shit happens, and it's very
So it's like a zombie apocalypse with dinosaurs.
With dinosaurs, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But it had a very Jurassic Park 2 when they're in the camper vibe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I liked Jurassic Park 2.
I didn't mind it.
I know I'm the minority.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. There's parts of it, like once they get off the island and they bring everything to San Francisco, I'm like, no.
There was a scene when they were back at San Francisco. There's a scene that traumatized me as a kid, where there's a guy in a phone booth and he's running out from a T-Rex, and the T-Rex grabs him, and there's like this weird gurgly scream he makes. Scars me. Like I still hear it inside my head. Like it's still traumatized me.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, that is funny. You just hear it now?
Yeah, no, I'm hearing it in my head. It's like, and I was like, as a kid, you just watch that. And I look at my parents. I'm like, not only did that dinosaur just eat a dog, he just ate that dude. Yeah. And that's what I liked about Jurassic Park, is because they were like a kid's film, but they were still pretty graphic.
Yeah, they were, for sure. I mean, they ate a guy on a toilet, and they like ripped people in half and stuff.
A blood waterfall.
Yeah, blood waterfall. Yeah.
It's great. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was like where are we going? Like, what's the point of the short? Because when does the next one come out?
To remind people that
this
Jurassic
one
World
was
still
supposed, like the short was supposed to come out with Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
And it didn't.
But it was delayed.
Don't know why.
Don't know why.
It's 9 minutes. Yeah, it was 9 minutes long. Didn't look super great. They had a couple weird things too, like at the end when it was going through the credits, like it would show like people who had recorded something and be like, oh, they're at like a wedding and they release doves, and the doves are flying, and then all of a sudden like pterodactyl swoops down and eats the dove. Or like they're like coming out of a tunnel and all of a sudden there's like a stegosaurus on the freeway, and they're like, oh fuck, and then they like crash their car off a cliff. And so like it's like weird stuff, you know, kind of like that, where they just it was like, what, I don't know what the point of the movie, what was it supposed to be? Like, yes, this is where it's going, even though the second one ended with them all like velociraptors like above the small town, where you're like, people are about to get fucked up.
Yeah, but like, I fully expect a velociraptor to speak in the next Jurassic World movie.
Alan.
No, he's just yeah. There's gonna be a Planet of the Apes scene where he's like, "Get your damn claws off me, you damn dirty velociraptor," and he just goes, "No," like some scary thing, like, "Chris Pratt, help! I need your help."
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was interesting because they used like the Triceratops, but they hadn't really used before much. Though they had him in the first one, but that was just because the one was sick. Mm-hmm. But they didn't like these ones like fight back. And so I'm watching it with Tanya, and it was against another like a T-Rex looking one, but way smaller. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Yeah. It's a T-Rex but small.
It's probably T-Rex. Not actually the dinosaur it's named.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I was like, oh, like from reading about other shit like dinosaur related, like this Triceratops is gonna fuck this thing up.
Yeah.
And then like
it doesn't?
Two of them come. No, it fucking does.
Oh.
But like two of them come and like, oh, this thing's fucked.
Yeah.
Because in like the from what we know, I guess, was that Triceratops were actually like really good at defending themselves. That's why they had the big like neck thing, like it was like made of bone.
Yeah.
So they couldn't bite through it. So anything that tried to bite it would hit that, and they couldn't crunch through it. So they couldn't kill him, and then they had the big horns in the way. So then you're getting fucking.
And they also had the tail too, right?
So pretty big tail, but not like the Stegosaurus, which has the big
weight,
weight on it, which is such a crazy animal.
Yeah, really. How does that evolve to that? Like it's so fascinating to me. But like
it was just a weird thing, and it was like weird timing because it wasn't like battle. I think it was called like Battle of the Rock or something. Battle of like it's
no wonder it's supposed to be with Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me look it up. Battle of something.
Battle of the Rock.
Battle at Big Rock.
Battle
what it's called.
Big Rock.
There's not a Big Rock. No, it's it's like some campground probably that's well known or some shit. But it didn't go like here it was, and then at the end it wasn't like Jurassic Park 3 Apocalypse
coming now, coming soon,
coming June or July.
How crazy if it's like coming next week?
Yeah,
like
that would be crazy. Well, dude, that's how I feel about the Breaking Bad movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
So
that's how I felt about the Cloverfield movies.
I just so I like just recently finished Breaking Bad. for the first time ever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
So I've talked about it a lot, but like I thought that the end was good, but my biggest complaint was that it was abrupt. Like I wanted to know what happened to Jesse afterwards.
Yeah.
And so like I was just like, but it was good. Like I can't remember what part it was, but it was somewhere I think in season. No, I think it was in season 2 when Walter watches Jane die.
Oh yeah.
When
she's like,
yeah, she's fucking choking on her own vomit.
Yeah.
I remember going like, I think someone was with me, or I might have even said it just out loud to myself. I was like, oh, Walter's the villain of this show. Mm-hmm. And he very much is. Like, there's obviously other antagonists in it, but like he is the root problem of everything that happens in the show.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I remember Dylan tweeted out something about Skylar and like people who don't I'm like, dude, she's so fucking annoying. I get it. It's just.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Marie.
100% is just.
Like, it's 100% just. She can be that way and do all that stuff, and it makes sense. Yeah. But it doesn't make her less annoying.
Yeah.
Like, she's just annoying because you want Jesse, and for a long time, you do want Walter to win.
Absolutely. I think that's the beauty of the second watch, though. Because I'm rewatching it at the moment, getting ready.
Get ready for El Camino,
because I want to be refreshed. I haven't watched it in 5 years. But so like I'm rewatching, I see Skylar. First time I watched it, hated Skylar. Could not believe.
She just annoyed me.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, get off the screen. Like I was mad. Second time watching it, I was like, you go, Skylar. Like I'm like, you've got it. Like
I think the part that bugged me the most was at parts where she could have done as a person, could have done a better job of like, not necessarily of communication, because obviously a lot is being hidden. Yeah. But she does this thing where she wants things to get better, but then does her own thing on the side to make things worse. Yeah. Where you're just like, like again, in terms of what's happening, you get why she makes the decisions. But it's like, but you're talking about this thing, but you're making active choices to make sure that thing could never happen the way you want it to. Yeah. And if I'm Skylar, I'm like, how much money you make? Yeah, I mean, I feel like $1.5 million a month. I feel like I feel like in the show, through my second watch, that's the character I identify with the most. Is Skylar? Yeah, because I think of myself like, what would I do in that situation? And personally, I am the pettiest person in any argument. Period. I think that there's evidence, for a fact. But when she finds out that Walt is selling meth on the side and she just leaves, or no, it wasn't that she finds out, she's tired of asking him where he's been, so she just leaves for a couple days, and then and she doesn't say anything to Walt. She's that was the thing. Yes, I'm not going anywhere. Like oh, what are you doing today? I'm doing what I want. I'm doing things. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I love this. I love that, like that passive aggressive. Yeah. Like, but I love the moment manipulative when everyone else is like, Skylar, your husband has cancer, and she's just looking at them like, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know. Yeah. But it's a really well written show, and I actually have said this multiple times. I think Aaron Paul does a better job than Bryan Cranston in the show. I think that is I would agree, but I think that's purely because his arc ends in the positive route, while Walt is the villain the entire time. I think Walt's arc ends in not completely positive, but in a way that, like, he tried to do the right thing to get back to, like, doing he makes amends. He made amends. Yeah. Yes. But, like, he tried. So I don't think it necessarily. And I think the thing was that Walter obviously has a lot of emotion, but it's almost always negative. So, for example, you see Walter wanting to do these things and it's acting negative, but almost never does he, like, really hug Junior and, like, act like this is the life that he really loved. The whole time it just seemed like he got to a point where he's just like, yeah, I just love fucking cooking meth, and that's what I'm going to do. But there were times where Jesse was like, I want to help my friends. I love this girl, and I love this little boy. Like, I want to be a dad, or I want to be someone for them. Jesse wanted what Walt had. Yeah, but at the same time wanting to be able to provide, and this was the only real way that this, like, kind of high school dropout person was going to figure it out. Yeah. And so
do you think Walter White's still alive?
So I think that the weirdest part about Breaking Bad and the way that it ends is it basically zooms out on him dying.
Yes, blood is coming out.
But you never hear, like, because the typical rule is if you don't see them die, they ain't dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
which is like why everyone knew the Hound wasn't dead, even if you've like not read the books. Like you didn't watch him die, he's not dead.
Exactly.
And I thought that they gave us enough for you to feel like you watched Walt die. I think that he probably is alive. And the craziest part to me about this is that nothing has like leaked. I don't think. Maybe something recently did.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
I've been keeping a close eye.
So I was looking through stuff because I was like, when I was nearing the end, I was like, oh, what's Aaron Paul doing now? Because it's been several years. Like the show started in 2008 or something like that. And that was the best part too, was nothing was spoiled for me.
That's brilliant.
Literally,
I'm so
no
happy
part.
for you.
So it's like whoever all the fans are for Breaking Bad
are the best
fans because they didn't talk about anything. They always just said it's good. Yeah. They never said shit. So I was like, okay. So anyway, I was like, what's Aaron Paul doing? And then I saw he's like, oh, he's in season 3 of Westworld. Like I might actually watch season 2 so that I can figure out what the fuck's happening in season 3 because I want to see Aaron Paul. And then I was like, it said untitled Breaking Bad movie. And I looked at it, and it was he was the only person that was attached to it. Like, even I don't think it had, like, a writer or a director or anything. So I was like, oh, this movie's not fucking happening. This is a movie that they talked about doing a year after the movie or the TV show ended, and that was it. And then the trailer dropped, like, a couple, weeks ago or whatever, maybe a month ago. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck. They're doing this movie.
Did you see Aaron Paul's tweet regarding the trailer?
No.
He's like, "Oh, I didn't know we could start talking about it now." Like he was pissed because he was the last one to stop talking about it. Like,
oh yeah.
And
that's hilarious.
It's hilarious because he's just like I've been keeping this movie secret. Like we finished this a year ago.
Yeah.
Basically, a year before the trailer was dropped, they finished filming.
Yeah.
And it's wild, and I
think that's
excited to see it.
I think it's a crazy thing, like how under wraps they kept it, because even like Marvel, when they first were building the Avengers and Iron Man, when they did Nick Fury, like they picked Nick Fury up like in a car with huge tinted windows, like didn't even go outside. They basically like drove into his shit, and then they drove him on set. Yeah. And still pictures leaked.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was like, they did their best to keep it secret. And these guys filmed the whole fucking movie with no one knowing.
No one. And I think they chose a perfect time to film a movie without no one knowing. Because everyone was like, Endgame.
Infinity
like,
War.
What's going to happen with Endgame?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? They're doing Endgame reshoots. What does this mean?
Yeah,
it could be 4 hours.
I'm excited. I am also a little bit scared that like it'll miss a beat. Because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But it is written and directed by the person who made the series.
Yeah, Vince Gilligan.
Uh-huh. And so that's promising.
Yeah.
And who knows how long ago he wrote it. He could have written it right then and then decided to put it out. But I'm very excited. And now if you even go look, it's only him and Skinny Pete.
Yeah.
Like those are the only two people who are on
it. And then I think I read today that I think Badger's in it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I imagine all the living friends will be in there.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to make their cameo. But do you think he goes back for the little kid?
The little boy?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You don't? I think he does. I think he does. That's when Breaking Bad ended. That's why I'm worried about the movie. Because I like my fantasy of what the ending is so much. Because I think
how I felt.
He rides off for pick up the kid.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people hate... maybe not hate, but really didn't like Prometheus. Yeah. I really liked Prometheus, but I also had, because it took so long between Prometheus and Covenant coming out, like I had my ideas of what was going to be the next movie, and Covenant was not at all what I wanted.
Yeah.
It brought it back more to being an alien movie than like this sci-fi God kind of religion, what built us, what's happening here kind of movie. It still had that.
It's very
obviously
very much so.
But like then once I saw that they had like the second David, I was like, this David's dead. The David's gonna take his place. Like this is a trope. Like I know what's happening, so I was kind of like taken out of it.
Yeah.
Also like then there's other things like that. There's an egg that dude's just like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like what, you've never seen any of the other alien movies before?
Well, it's like you're in outer space, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I'm at go to Mars, if I fly to Mars and
you
I see an egg, I'm turning the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm like, hey, there's an egg over here. I'm leaving. Bye. I'm holding a gun to it. Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
Well, I feel like that's like the trope of any alien movie though, where any of the scientists are idiots.
Yeah.
Like
but David's just like, peer inside.
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah.
okay.
After the dude is like, you killed my friend.
Yeah.
I know you're the devil.
Yeah.
I met him once before.
Yeah.
And he gives him the whole speech. David's like, well, then follow me. I must show you something. And just walks away and shows him this egg.
Yeah.
The egg should be suspicious.
It is funny how some of that stuff like sneaks into things. Like where like no one was like, dude. Like the end of Game of Thrones when he's like, Grey Worm's like, Tyrion, you can't talk. And he's like, okay. And then Tyrion goes on to give an 18-minute speech.
Dude, no one was on board with the last season of Game of Thrones. No one was there. No one cared. No, like everyone was so.
It's so interesting. Don't you think that that's really weird? That like they spent all this time, like all the actors, actresses, everybody,
absolutely,
and like everyone spent so much time building up to this thing. So like I didn't mind the first 3 episodes. I felt like the battle at Winterfell was dark, which then you learned that was a mistake, which goes to confirm theories of no one's on fucking board because no one's doing their shit.
Yeah.
There's Starbucks cups, water bottles, like so many mistakes that didn't happen in any of the other seasons.
The invention of democracy.
Yeah. So many different things, right? That's like really weird. Like it just seems like a technical and like organization and like how they decided to do stuff. Like, it seemed like a misstep on everybody's part, not just, like, the actors and everything.
Do you know why, though?
I don't know the exact reason why.
Well, D&D before Season 8 was announced, right, for that they got signed up, David and David, they basically were planned to go for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And then Disney walked over and were like, hey, Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
And then they were like, absolutely. And then they were like, we'll clean up our entire slate for you. We're going to finish it in 1 season. And HBO's like, we'll let you do 10. And they're like, no, we want to get it done with. We want to move on to our next project.
That is frustrating. What I heard was the season prior and this season were supposed to be like a longer season. Mm-hmm. I just felt like this is how I feel about Game of Thrones in the last season. I don't mind how it ended. I mind how it got to the ending. Yeah. Because like everyone's like, what do you mean? The White Walkers were built up and then it was just one fight. It's like, that's what it built up to was that final fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and then people who talk about Daenerys, like she showed signs, like, yeah, but at every turn that she showed signs, she also chose to do the opposite of that thing. And I wouldn't have minded if there was 4 more episodes. Yeah, showing the grief of losing Missandei and showing, some of these other things that really would have made sense for the character to devolve into that. But it was so fast. I also thought that they misstepped hugely with Bran. Like, I thought that the going back in time and whispering in the Mad Ears King, like,
dude,
burn them,
what was
all,
the
like, all
point of the Third Eye Raven storyline?
There isn't one.
Like,
but I assume there will be in the book. Because he's such a high fantasy person, George R.R. Martin is. But, like, he's like, I'm not meant to rule. And then it's like Tyrion is like, I think Bran should be the ruler. He's like, why do you think I'm here?
Yeah.
Like, what? The whole time you told us you didn't. This wasn't what you were supposed to do. You were basically supposed to be the watcher.
Yeah.
Of the world.
Yeah.
And like learn the histories and be able to prove or disprove certain shit.
Yeah. But he's just an asshole.
But you're just like,
he's just a dick.
Yeah. God.
I love it. I think my favorite with season 8. I think the first 2 episodes are great. I think there's some of the better Game of Thrones episodes out there. Mm-hmm. But The Long Night lost me, and it wasn't due to the fact that it was dark. I hated the fact that it was just like, these were guys that were set up in the first episode as the big bad, right? Mm-hmm. And Game of Thrones as a whole, especially its narrative, it's very... history repeats itself, right?
Yeah.
So the first episode, the opening scene is a White Walker coming. I believe that the ending scene should have been White Walkers falling. Would have been defeated.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been a better way to end it narratively. Mm-hmm. But I also think that I thought this was going to happen when they showed the battle at Winterfell, that after they finish the battle and they think they're like, we've won, and they go to
The Weirwood Tree.
They go to Cersei.
Mm.
They go to Cersei, and then you find out that the White Walker King sent more of his army that way, and that they're already there.
Yeah, but
waiting for you.
I guess like the downfall of that idea is that once the Night King dies, everything dies because he turns everyone, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, I would have loved like a little twist or a little something, like especially during like.
Well, then there's other stuff too. You know how like this is the one thing that I can say about The Walking Dead, typically, is that if they're gonna kill a main character, they do it in like a horrendous way.
Oh yeah.
In a way that's like it's kind of like a respect thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna die, we're gonna fuck you up.
yeah. You scared of revolving doors?
Yeah. Yeah, and then but then like with Cersei and Jaime, they just get barreled under rubble. Like a bunch of
when they could have moved 2 feet to the left.
Yeah, exactly.
And been fine.
Yeah, and so there's like some of that stuff that
and he has his hand.
Rushed.
That's the thing. He has both his real hands in the ending shot when he's holding her.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice because I only watched it once.
Dude,
you know?
It made me.
And I didn't read into it because I was just like, eh. It was like I said, like I don't mind like why it ended the way that it did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just mad that we missed what I feel crucial parts in terms of evolving or devolving the characters. And it's like Grey Woman's like, what are we gonna do with Jon Snow? And it's like we're gonna send him to the Night's Watch. He's like, okay,
yeah,
we're gonna leave.
Yeah.
And it was like, you just let like if you're really that upset, like. You're going to call for maybe more, or like if you're going to leave, probably not going to care anyway.
I honestly
like,
fully expected Jon Snow to hang himself at the end of the show.
Or, yeah, something like that.
Something just kill himself. Because he's just like, I'm so out of this game. Like, I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like, the world is playing a different game that I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
But, like, I think my favorite thing they did is I'm just glad I saw the Clegane Bowl.
Yeah.
Because I was worried that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Dude, when he grabbed Pycelle. No, is it Pycelle? What's his name? Qyburn.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, just
stomps his fucking head out on the wall. Yeah. Just crushes it. It's like, oh, damn.
Yeah. And I loved how the final season continuously broke rules that were set up throughout the series just for the sake of we need to wrap this up.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of that, for sure. It is frustrating, but
how do you feel about the new Targaryen series announced?
I don't mind. Like,
that is different than the other one they announced.
Yeah, I don't mind. I really don't mind. When Game of Thrones left, I was like, dang, I need a fantasy thing to watch. Because I always like to usually have like one reality show, one fantasy, one sci-fi, or whatever.
Yeah. And
the thing is that now TV doesn't really release episodes 1 week, so it's like I just binge watch everything. It's gone in 2-3 days. Like Stranger Things was gone, and all these different ones were just in and out very quickly. Like I watched season 2 of Daredevil in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And like 13 episodes. Like I was
like,
just
I've got to wait 2 years for season 3.
Exactly. And then then later down the line, we come to find out that, in my opinion, season 3 is one of the better ones.
It is.
It's
really good.
People didn't like it all that much. I think it's one of the better ones.
It's perfect.
And then they get canceled, and because of the contract that they had with Netflix, those main characters, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil, can't be used for like 2 years. The only one that can be used is the Punisher, but he doesn't fit. He fit Netflix. All those characters fit Netflix except for like Iron Fist and Luke Cage. In my opinion, I thought both those series were. I mean, Iron Fist is so fucking bad.
Oh yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, that is atrocious.
Yeah, like that was such a weird thing to me too, like how it got so bad. Because everything else at least was high production value. But Iron Fist was like him doing like martial arts was like,
yeah.
It was like, what the fuck? Like the dude from Karate Kid would have whooped your ass.
Yeah.
You have an Iron Fist like this thing, and like I don't understand. I just didn't get like how that slipped through. I don't understand it. And then it's like, and then now it's like I don't really care about Phase 4. Like the only one I'm really interested in is the Doctor Strange movie.
I think it's going to introduce a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, and
for
so
Disney to
I mean,
do our stuff.
I'm definitely going to be one of the people who gets the Disney streaming service. I just think they offer so much
100%
in it for so cheap that like you need it. Like I would cancel probably Amazon Prime's video stuff if like that's all you could cancel.
I honestly thought about canceling Netflix.
Yeah,
for getting Disney Plus because Netflix is so ridiculously expensive right now.
I think it's like $13 a month or something like that.
13, yeah, and then 16 for 4K
for whatever. Yeah, exactly. As you go, move up, But like you just get all the Marvel stuff, you get all the Vault stuff, you get like Disney Classics. You're gonna get all these Star Wars shows. But now like they're and then the other thing too is that in the Disney streaming service for all the Marvel shit is it is gonna be released one episode a week.
Yeah.
And so I said this about Breaking Bad. I said if I would have watched Breaking Bad without being able to binge it, I don't know if I would have continued to watch throughout the whole time it was on.
I don't know. That show, I watched it through its entirety, and I was like,
there were some episodes where I was like
the fly on the wall episode.
Yeah, I tweeted about that one. Yeah. Where I was like,
that is regarded as like the worst episode of Breaking Bad. Yeah, but I love that episode.
But also it's
so weird.
The whole point of that episode is to tell you that Walt is going to die of cancer, basically, or he's going to get cancer back.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of the episode.
Yep.
Literally the only point.
Now, how do we write it into an hour?
Which could have been talked about in 5 minutes. Right?
Yeah,
I have cancer. Okay, but like that's what that episode was about. Mm-hmm. And I tweeted about it. I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like they one set in downstairs, and that's it. Like in the fucking meth lab, and so. One of the things, though, that I love about weekly shows is the theory crafting of shows. Being able to sit down with a friend afterwards for 6 days.
Yeah.
And being able to be like, what do you think is going to happen? Mm-hmm. Like, do you think this is going to happen? What's going on? And then the next week comes, you get to watch it. Some of your things that you predicted came true. Maybe some of them didn't.
Little surprises.
Mm-hmm. You go talk about those. And I think that's something that Netflix doesn't have because people binge watch it. And then things get spoiled really fast. So you're on Facebook and two days or a day later, people are talking about episode 13 of Stranger Things. And you're like, dude, like give
person dies.
Like give 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Give it a week or something. Like there should be like some standard on it.
I saw a few spoilers for season 3 of Stranger Things before I got to it. I was pissed.
Someone told me that the end, and I was like, and then I watched the end and I'm like, you guys are idiots. If that's what what they told me, like if that's what you actually think happened,
really?
That's not what happened.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What'd they tell you?
They told me who died at the end. And then when I watched him, like, he ain't dead.
I don't think he dead either.
Yeah.
I don't think he did
either. Going with the rules. We didn't see him die.
Didn't see him be torn apart maliciously.
Yeah. But it showed everyone else.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's that. Then at the end with the post-credit scene, they say, like, the American.
But I don't think that's him.
It might not be him.
Yeah, but it's a tease.
But that's what you're supposed to think, and for good reason.
What if it's a twin?
Like they've cloned him? I think
not even. Just like his twin brother is a Russian spy, like or an American spy.
80s.
And the Russians absolutely would. Yeah. They had the Russian storyline in 3rd season.
Yeah, but I mean, like the twin, like I'm your evil twin.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He wears a goat. He just has a chin strap. He doesn't even have a mustache.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm really looking forward to see what the fuck they do with the Lord of the Rings series.
Dude, they just casted people.
Did they?
Well, they casted one person.
Yeah. Well, they
the kid from We're the Millers.
No way.
The dude who gets his nut bit by a spider. He's the main character or a main character.
He's older now, so he doesn't look so fucking goofy.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in something and be like, oh, like he grew into what he's supposed to look like.
He's in Midsummer as well. He's pretty good in Midsummer.
Yeah. What's his name?
Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
There's the first thing on IMDb, like right in the middle, is Denzel Washington, and I can't remember what movie he's in, but he's wearing a bunch of chains with the Magneto helmet photoshopped on his head.
No.
Denzel as Magneto. Why it would be perfect. Just a quick video. We are the Millers. I just want to see what this dude looks like now. Because I remember, like, he was just so goofy looking, but now, yeah, like, he looks kind of, he looks grown up. Like, he doesn't have that, like, really long, like, doofy, kind of doofy look.
Face, yeah.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings TV series, episode 1, episode 2, rumored pre-production. But they, like, released, like, a video of, like, kind of, like, the map and, like, where it should be kind of taking place, and I was like, I'm fucking getting excited.
I'm excited. It's going to be the highest budget fantasy show on a streaming service.
Yeah, which is just insane. Mm-hmm. And especially, well, I guess they don't count. Do they count HBO as a streaming service?
Yes.
Yeah. So they spent a lot on Game of Thrones,
Absolutely.
too. So
yeah, they spent more on the rights for
the show
for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, which is just
any
nuts.
of the episodes.
So it's really cool. So I'm hoping, and I don't need a lot. Like, I just needed to feel like Peter Jackson's Middle Earth a little bit.
Well, it's being filmed in New Zealand as well.
Good.
I feel like it has to be.
They're making good choices.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, man. That's an hour and 45.
Hour 45. Is this your longest episode?
No, we went for 2.5 with somebody.
Damn it.
With Colin or something.
I will be back. I will be back and we will
we
finish
could probably
this.
sit here and talk for forever.
Probably.
It's so easy. Like when I had Colby Michelle on, where like, you know, it's 2 guests, so you want to ask each person some questions and learn, and everyone has their own thing that they want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we're at 2 hours, probably cut it off now, but we could have talked for 2 more. There's just a lot to talk about.
There is. Yeah. There's too much.
Yeah,
we had a lot of catching up.
Yeah, man. Well, can people follow you anywhere, or do you do anything in terms of like your movies and or what you want to do, writing and that kind of stuff? Or
I mean, you can just follow me on Twitter at Max McComish.
Easy. That's good. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's not anything special. I think at first I was like, it'll be easy for people to find me, and then now I'm like, it's too easy for people to find me.
Yeah.
It's that same issue.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah, I know. I saw your Instagram was private. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, that's can I tell you that story why it's private really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So earlier this year, I was over at a friend's house and I get this weird text message, right?
Okay.
From an ex.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, geez, like this is crazy. And then she texts me and goes, we need to talk. And right then I was like, I'm a dad. Like I was scared.
Like, I've seen this girl 10 years since then.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a kid, but I'm pretty sure I'm a father now.
No, I was like, I am so scared that I'm a dad. And then she goes ahead and tells me that's she's like, call me, I need to speak to you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I called, and then she basically told me that after our breakup, she had this whole thing, and then this new guy she's dating is like insane, like crazy, and that she said that I came up in an argument.
Oh fuck!
And that
that's what you want.
Yeah, a crazy guy, you know, someone that's had the police call him several times. He's known for stalking and like that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, thanks for the heads up. And then
you get a knock at the door.
I was like, stay safe. And then I hung up, and then I looked at my Instagram, and I was like, would he be able to find me on my Instagram? And I was like, he could be able to find my place of work, my where my like basically the front of my house looks like.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, private instantly, because I was like, hey, even if he's looking at it now, I just don't want him looking at it any further. I don't know what his account name is, but that was purely out of I'm scared.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so like all my accounts right now that have any of that sort of information are private.
Makes sense. Yeah, especially with how weird that people are.
People are insane.
Yeah, they're nutty, man. All right, well, follow him on Twitter at Max McComish. It's like the worst segue ever. Like, do I match the story or what do I do here? Yeah, dude, he's probably waiting for you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Right outside my car.
Yeah.
I've
told this. I'll tell you a story.
Oh, please.
Creepy story. Well, not really creepy, but like funny creepy. So. Okay. And I've told the story on the podcast before, but I know you haven't heard it.
Oh.
So, unless you've listened to the podcast.
Maybe I have.
Maybe you haven't.
So that's probably it.
I was talking talking with one of my friends, Jesse, and we were talking a bunch of shit to each other.
Yeah.
And Jesse's like the type of guy who's like, oh, you don't say that to me. Like, I'm going to do this. And he like started going off about like what he was going to do. And basically it was like, I'm just going to show up at your house. Like, I'll be inside your house and you won't know it. And like all this shit, right? Like he's like, and I was like, yeah, you won't do that. Like, you're a pussy. You're not doing any of that shit, right? And I was like, plus you drive this huge red Dodge truck. I'm gonna see you a mile away. It's loud. Like, you're not gonna do this shit. Okay, so then I'm home with my mom and Tanya. Tanya and I are like watching TV, and then my mom leaves. Well, Tanya and I have very limited time in which we're alone in the house.
Yeah.
So instantly, well, I'm like, go downstairs.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're gonna like
go.
Yeah.
Go.
I was like, go. Like, I like waited. I was like, I'm gonna wait for my mom to leave.
Yeah.
So, like, pulled her thing. I was like, okay, sweet. And so I come downstairs. I walk through the sliding door, and I look at the sliding door that goes out to the out to the backyard, and the door's open. And the door is never fucking open. Like, it's never open. And I'm like, I literally was like, no. I was like, and like, Tanya's already down here, like, getting undressed and shit. I'm like, dude, Jesse might be in the house. Check under the bed. Like, I'm checking everywhere. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like opening doors. I'm like, Jesse, are you here? Like, come out if you are. And And earlier in the day, he had texted me like pretty close to when I had gotten home, and he was like, "I know you're home." And I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I was just like, "Yeah, whatever." Like he probably just guessed because he knew he knows I get off work at 4.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like I'm gonna be home. And I was like, "Whatever." And I later learned that he had texted my friend Devin, who we share our location on our phones together.
Oh.
And because Devin's one of those guys who's like, if I'm home, just come. Like you can come over. You don't gotta text me or call me. Just come, whatever. And you can just check the phone. And he had texted him to figure out if I was home, and he's like, "Yeah, he's home." And then he was like, "Gonna fuck with me." But as soon as I saw that door open, I was like, "Oh shit!"
But why was the door open?
My mom had opened it because it was like hot, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But it like freaked me out because I was like, "That door is lit." Like I almost never even use it to go outside.
Yeah.
Like I could literally walk outside right now, but if I'm going in the backyard, I walk upstairs and go through that door for whatever dumbass fucking reason.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just don't open the door. It was creepy.
That would have terrified me.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to sleep down here. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But anyway, follow Max at Max McComish on Twitter. His link will be in the description of the video. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Neighbor Podcast. Remember, guys, check out Live, Wayward, and Wild. That's Kobe and Michelle's store. And if you use Neighbors15 at checkout, you get 15% off. So do that. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.